Hello guys, it's me again, back with some farming videos. Sorry I haven't been doing any, I just basically got a bit burnt out after I did the tractor last time, so this is the first thing I've done since. So this is a Bobcat. I'm replacing the old Perkins engine in it with a Kabuto engine, and this will be part one of it. Hope you enjoy it. If you don't mind subscribing, because only 95% of you who watch this aren't subscribed, and liking, it would help me out a lot. And this is going to be part one, and like I said, see how I get on.
Hello YouTubers! Been a long time since I posted anything machinery related, so here we are. Wheel rim rotted on this Bobcat the other day, so had to do that. I haven't got another wheel for him yet, but I just led from that into this, ripping the engine out. Don't ask. The engine has been crap in it since I bought it, and it's really has given up the ghost now. I think the crank or one of the pistons has gone in it, and it's just making a terrible noise. So we thought we were going to sort something out. Originally, I'd had an idea of putting a different engine I got here in it. Come in 6-cylinder just for a bit of fun, but it's too big. I can't get it in. It's another 1.5 foot longer, and the engine itself comes to here. So that would have been too much of a job to put in, even though I'd have liked it in there. So what I've got coming is a Kabuto engine. It's a 3-cylinder engine, so not quite as big as that. It's all the same as that figure there. Yeah. So one of them engines. It's a Kabuto 908, is it, or something like that? 3-cylinder. It should be plenty powerful, enough to run that pile of crap. So, because that was only going on 3 cylinders, like I said. So, I originally started this and I didn't use the camera, so I whipped that engine out yesterday. And I've got the Kabuto engine, which is should go straight in here quite easy. I might have to fashion some bit of a setup here for the back of the engine, but I think the front will bolt straight on. And it's only done 150 hours, so it's basically brand new. It's a little bit underpowered, but it's brand new, so it should be okay, hopefully. But, so this is a little project we're doing now. Like I said, this is a handy thing, but I just can't stand driving it, especially when the engine isn't reliable. Having to not knowing if you go into it and it's going to start or whatever. So with this being a newish engine, hopefully all that should be done with. I just hope it's got enough power. Should have. It's only turning a pump, isn't it? You know, it's not that much of bloody pressure. But we'll soon see anyway. So I'm going to try and mess around with this wheel rim now, but when I get the engine, we'll carry on and try and get this thing adapted, okay? Right, Bobcat part 2. Or probably in the same vid. Just had the replacement engine delivered. It's a 1-cylinder smaller, so this one is a 3-cylinder Kabuto engine, and that was a 4-cylinder Perkins, so we might be underpowered. So I'm not 100% sure. This is just, I thought I'd try this because this was a pretty much brand new engine as a whole unit, and I think it's going to work. So it's a bit of a punt. So that should go in there some shape. It's only done, I don't know, it's about 100 hours work. So hopefully we can fit that in there. This looks a similar bell housing fit, so maybe that plate off the Perkins engine will just bolt onto that one, hopefully, cross fingers, and then we can maybe get this thing going. If this works okay and powers it okay, which I cross my fingers for, she'll be a little bit light on the back end now, because of the less weight of the engine, so we might have to deal with that somehow. I'm not sure yet. Maybe if we melt some batteries or some tractor weights or something. We'll see how it goes when we get it in anyway. Regarding the wheel, in the other bit I showed you about how the wheel rim is knackered. It's exactly the same as this one here. They must have been using it in some salt or something, and it's rotted outside of the wheel rim away. This one's okay at the moment, but I have managed to do a bit of a repair here. Surprising, there's always a way. So I've cut the face of the knackered rim off, and I've cut another rim, if you can see, just the edge bit. I'm going to weld that on. So it's the same diameter, so it should work as long as I weld it on tidy and remove all the square edges, sharp edges, sorry. You wouldn't believe how hard it is to get a Bobcat wheel. I looked everywhere. Only one I could find was 300 quid. So hopefully that worked. So I obviously haven't started to put it in yet. As I go through this, I will show you if this will work. And this is quite a big Bobcat. I know it's old, but it's a 732 or 7. I forget the actual name of it. Does it say on there? Somebody sprayed it, see, and they covered all the stuff up. I'll get it off there after anyway. But it's quite an old one. And if you want to repower a Bobcat, this is a good cheap way of doing it. If this engine will work, so we'll good way for somebody else if it'll work. Obviously, if it's too underpowered, it's not the way to go. Right guys, this is the next process. This is a flywheel off the Kabuto engine, and this is the one off the Perkins engine. And as you can see, it's no good. The one off the Perkins is too small and the holes don't line up. And there's not a lot of room to drill in or anything like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut a piece of metal that'll fit inside that, sit in there all the way across. Now we're going to drill some holes so it'll fit in there, and then we're going to get that on top, and we're going to drill some holes right through that into the other plate and fix it to that other plate, because the plate's got to come off, you can't get the flywheel on and off. So we might countersink the back of the bolts or put some spacers there or something, I'm not sure yet. But we'll do something anyway. So I haven't got much in the way of cutting nor a lathe or anything, so I got some steel here that should be okay for it. And I'm going to cut that circle out there roughly with a right angle grinder and just grind it down to near enough the right size. Hopefully that'll work because it's 1/2 inch thick. So there we are, that's the next job. There we are. Got a little bit more to get off there, and she's right to go in that hole. So then we need to drill the holes, and where's the other bit? Fix that bit on there. So that's the plan. Well, there you go fellas, there's the adapter plate made. That is the Kabuto flywheel. I've made this plate underneath and cut it out with a grinder. Surprisingly how well it came out. I fucked one hole up though, but it's not that bad. The others are okay. And then I've drilled new holes here to put the Perkins flywheel onto the other adapter, so it's all as one. It's not bad. it should be okay. Remember, it's agricultural engineering, so as long as it doesn't fly off and snap the engine in two, I don't give a fuck. But there we are. So what I'll do now is it has to be removable, all this, because you've got to be able to get to the flywheel, because the flywheel nuts are under here. So this lot will pull off now, like that. Then you put the flywheel on, and you put that on, like that. And we should be right then for fixing the engine onto the Bobcat side. With the splicer thing here, look. So there. See, it's like a bit of a Harley splicer or something they call it, I can't remember. Anyway, that goes there, and then that goes onto a little bit of a thing that slips over a shaft. And then we'll have to make some mounts for the engine then, but this is the major stuff. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put this flywheel on, use some threaded compound to keep it on there, and tighten it up, and then we'll go from there. Right, that's all the flywheel adapter and everything put onto the engine and torqued up and put Loctite on. So just wait for that to go off, and then we'll put that other bit on there. Sorry. And I've had to take the fan off and everything so this could turn. Don't really know how to do it with the electrics yet, but we'll sort that out. Well, there we are. You can see now that is a multi-movement joint there, look, with grease circs on it. So that's been fixed onto there really good. It shouldn't be that badly balanced, neither, hopefully, because I cut this. I know it isn't really accurate, but it's not far off. It shouldn't be that far out. And that goes onto that shaft over there, look. So what we'll do next, there's two mounts there to each side of the engine on the back. Well, what would that be? Just call it the front, that side. Sorry, the back, that end. So them mounts there. I'll put the engine in, slide it onto that shaft, and then I'll either adjust them mounts and make new mounts for them to fit, or if it'll bolt straight on, we'll bolt straight on. But looking at it, it looks like it's slightly too wide to me. Here. I haven't actually measured it, to be honest. I'll do that now. Right guys, just used Old Faithful there, the digger. I can't explain how handy this thing is. I use it every single day at something, and of all the builds, this Massey Firmec digger is the handiest thing I've ever owned. We just lifted the engine in and put it on the shaft. Look, if you can see, I'm not using my GoPro camera. I've got my Kodak camera because it's a bit easier to do with something like this. So we pushed this shaft on. Engine's on the shaft. It's on some bits of timber at the moment, but it obviously needs lining up and shimming in the right direction, and making the engine mounts fit properly. Looks like it wants to go that way a bit, but the engine mount that side is going to be easy enough to do, but not quite sure what we're going to do here yet, because that looks a bit awkward with all the pipes and the valve block. Don't know how they did it before. Anyway, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But this one here, got a piece of 4-inch channel there. Might work for that, perhaps. 100% sure yet, but we'll see. So that's how it's roughly going to look. Might have to move the air cleaner somewhere else because it might hit the cab otherwise, but other than that, very happy how it's fitting there. The engine is a good bit smaller, but it's actually fitting not so bad. Pleasantly pleased with it. And after I'm done fitting this all in, I might be able to move them batteries from there to the back. There's a big pain in the arse with this thing. If you do get a flat battery, you've got to put the jump leads and everything to the starter motor, because you just couldn't get the cab up and stuff. So hope they can move that there afterwards. So right, let me get this thing level.